You ever wonder why some of the simplest, oldest stories are the ones that really stick with us? Well, today we're going to dive into one of those classics, a fable about rivalry and maybe reconciliation. It's all about the cat and dog's big fight. So let's break down what makes this seemingly simple tale so powerful. Okay, so our story kicks off with two characters who share the same space but are, worlds apart. On one side, you've got the cat, and on the other, the dog. They live in the same alley, but as you can see, there's a serious divide between them. They just do not like each other. And that underlying tension, well, it's basically a powder keg just waiting for a spark. And that brings us to the first part of our story, the setup. Or, as it says here, an old enmity. This is where we learn about their history, right? This isn't a new thing. It's a long-standing dislike that's just been simmering under the surface, waiting for any excuse to boil over. And here it is. Here's our spark. One day, the cat finds a big piece of fish. Now, on the surface, it's just a lucky day for the cat, right? But in a story like this, an object is never just an object. This fish, this is the trigger. This is the one thing that's going to turn their Cold War hot. So this discovery officially kicks off Act 2, the catalyst, or the reason for the quarrel. That piece of fish is so much more than a meal. It's what storytellers call the inciting incident. It's the one event that's going to drag all that simmering dislike right out into the open for everyone to see. And the first move is made. The dog doesn't ask, he demands. Give me that fish, I'm very hungry. Now, pay attention to the tone here. This is not a friendly request to share. It's a claim. It's a power play. This has very little to do with hunger and everything to do with dominance. And the cat's response? It's just as defiant. Absolutely not. I found this fish, and I'm the one who's going to eat it. She's not having any of it. She counters his claim of need with her own claim of discovery, of finders keepers. And with just these two lines, any chance of a peaceful negotiation is completely off the table. The standoff has begun. This brings us right to the boiling point, the conflict, the big commotion of the fight. Words have failed, and all that tension that's been building up for who knows how long is about to explode into an all-out fight. So, how exactly do we get from angry words to actual blows? Well, it happens in stages, doesn't it? First, the cat shows her claws. That's a clear, nonverbal threat. The dog then matches that threat and raises it by barking loudly. It's an escalation you can hear. And finally, they both cross the line and attack. It's a perfect, almost textbook example of how conflicts escalate, where each side just mirrors and raises the aggression of the other. And here we are, the peak of the conflict. It's that classic cartoonish cloud of a fight, right? This isn't about strategy anymore, it's just pure, uncontrolled aggression. All that pent-up tension has finally been released in a chaotic physical clash. But just as the fight hits its absolute peak, the story pivots. Welcome to the intervention, or a piece of wise advice. In any classic fable, this is that moment. It's when an outside perspective shows up to completely disrupt the cycle of conflict. And here is our agent of change. An old monkey just happens to arrive on the scene. Bringing in a third party like this is a classic storytelling tool. Because as an outsider with absolutely no stake in the fight, he has the one thing the cat and the dog have totally lost: perspective. And here it is, the monkey's simple yet profound wisdom. He says, you will get nothing from fighting. If you share it, you will both be happy. See, this isn't a command, it's a logical appeal. He's talking to their own self-interest. He completely reframes the situation, not as a winner-take-all fight, but as a win-win opportunity. This bit of advice paves the way for our final act, the resolution, or the power of sharing. We're about to see how a simple change in perspective can solve what, just moments ago, seemed like a totally impossible conflict. So the path to fixing this is a really clear psychological process. Let's break it down. Step 1, shame. They immediately feel embarrassed about how they were acting. Step 2, realization. It clicks. The monkey is right. His logic is sound. And that leads to Step 3, action. They split the fish. It's a perfect logical progression from an emotional response to a rational conclusion and finally to a change in behavior. And you know what? The resolution had a lasting impact. From that day on, the cat and the dog fought way less. So the lesson wasn't just about one little piece of fish, it actually caused a fundamental shift in their entire relationship. And so we finally arrive at the story's core message, the moral of the whole thing. Nothing is gained from fighting, sharing is the best way to live. This is the ultimate lesson, right? Distilled from their conflict, a simple but really powerful principle for how to coexist. So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with one final thought. We've just broken down a very simple, very old story. But the real question is its lesson about conflict and about sharing, is it just as important and necessary today as it was all those years ago? It's something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.